at least 6.
Formulate your point that look, the entire credibility of the examination is lost.
Correct.
It is not possible to bifurcate the tainted from the untainted candidate.
That's it.
And therefore hold the examination.
That is my conclusion.
What is the factual foundation for that?
Yes. Twofold. One, the investigation. The report, the press note I have read. This is the investigation by the Bihar police, which registered the first FIR with regard to paper leak, and they were on the spot. They started investigating. They found there is a paper leak, and they found that the SOPs were not upheld, complied with, and they were still trying to find out that at what stage and from what source the paper has been leaked. And they indicated the fault at a systemic level. Now, another supporting fact comes from NTA's reply straight away.
No. First, we are focusing on this, the press note of the Bihar Economic Offences Wing. But the Bihar, this that you read out,
correct.
What part of it shows that, well, this is really a malaise which has affected the entire examination?
May I answer, my lord?
1 second, we'll hear you. Please let him conclude.
This report, as per my understanding, indicates they have found that the standard SOPs which were laid down by NTA for transportation of question papers, etc., was not fully complied with. They found it as a matter of fact that the paper has been leaked. They found it as a matter of fact that it was the sold question paper was received by this gang on mobile phone on the morning of 5th of May.
Where do we get that?
Yes, it is there. Let me come back to at page 292 of my second paragraph. Yes, this. This second paragraph at page 292, allow me to read that. That says it was received on mobile phone by this gang.
When were they received?
They say 5th of May 2024 in the morning, and the students were made in groups, were made to memorize the answers to these questions. This is what the finding is. As a matter of fact, we have a video which was shown to me. It's a Telegram channel where it has been recorded, which is on 4th of May. The question paper and answers were being circulated on a Telegram channel. This has been captured, the date and the Telegram channel we have. And the questions have been matched with the same question.
Where are the question papers lodged in the locker?
That they will be able to tell you.
When were the question papers sent to the locker?
Uh, 5-6 days prior to the actual
specific date. And second, when were they pulled out of the locker? 2 lockers, right? State Bank of India and Can Bank.
Banks, yes.
Now, when were they pulled out of the locker?
On the date of the exam, that is on 5th minutes. It's not only the date which is relevant, the time. In fact, it's the regard on the reference.
What time was the examination held?
5th minutes.
What time was it held?
2 in the afternoon. 2 o'clock to 5:20. 3 hours 20 minutes.
Yes.
Now, what time were they pulled out of the locker on the 5th?
Around minutes 10:30, 11 o'clock.
Now, at how many centers in India was the exam conducted?
In India, 4,750 minutes.
4,750 centers. How many? Right. How many cities?
5.
Now, please give us specific.
571 and 15 centers were abroad minutes.
571 cities.
Yes, please.
And how many centers abroad?
14 minutes. 14 cities. 14 cities. Centers.
Now tell us, how many students appeared totally?
24 lakhs around minutes. Around 24 minutes.
You have the precise figure?
23 lakhs, 73 lakhs. I'll give you lordships in the
23 lakhs?
33,297.
Appeared against registration of 24 lakhs and plus. 72,000 students, my lords, did not take the exam, sped registration.
Now, how were the papers distributed abroad?
They were sent minutes. And
When were they sent abroad?
Through the embassies. Minutes.
And how were they sent to the embassies?
We'll get the details of it.
Were they sent by the diplomatic bag? Were they sent by courier?
I'll find out.
And
It's on record.
And second, if the now they were the exam was held in as many as 4,750 centers
Yes, please.
in 571 cities,
Yes, please.
right?
Yes, please.
Now, when you say that the two booklets,
Yes.
we'll call them
Yes,
A and B, set A and set B,
yes,
they were sent to these cities. When were they sent to these cities?
yes, please.
When were they sent to these cities?
Approximately about 5
We don't want to tell us the precise dates.
I'll get the exact dates.
When were they and how were they sent to those cities?
Yes, please. I'll get the dates. Bihar police
And were they lodged in the State Bank and Canara Bank in each of these cities, or what happened?
each of the cities minutes they are lodged with the custodians who are minutes Canara Bank and State Bank.
So we want to know on what date were the question papers sent? Where were they? When were they? When the question papers were prepared?
Yes, minutes.
Right? Question papers are prepared by one person or more than one
A
person.
group of experts. Question papers are prepared at the headquarters
Where are the headquarters? Delhi.
in Delhi.
So two sets are prepared by two different groups or one group?
It's by the same group. What's one?
One second.
The same group of experts minutes plays two different sets of question papers.
At the headquarters.
Yes, please.
After they are prepared, they are given to the NTA.
Yes, please.
Right. Now, tell us when did the group of persons conduct the prepare the question papers and give you the question papers?
Dates. I'll get the date.
Right. We want to know what was the date on which these question papers were prepared and given to you.
Yes.
Point one.
Yes, please.
After they were received by NTA, in what custody they were preserved? When did NTA send them to the State Bank of India and Canara Bank into different cities?
In between, printing is there. Next.
Right.
Printing presses.
So when
are they sent to the printing press?
Which is the printing press?
Yes, please. We will get the details.
We want to know which is the printing press.
Yes, please.
When did you send these question papers to the printing press?
Yes, please.
What were the transportation arrangements made for sending them to the printing press?
Yes, please.
When did the printing press, after the printing press reached them? You are now talking of 24 lakhs,
Yes.
50 lakh sets.
Yes.
Right? Because 24 lakh had, how many sets were printed?
Correct.
And after they were printed, where were they sent? Are they sent back to the headquarters at Delhi?
Yes, please.
Huh?
The remaining sheets,
No.
unutilized ones.
No. After the question paper is set, it is sent for printing.
Yes.
You have a printing press A.
Yes.
You need not tell us where the printing press is, otherwise next year they will go to that
Correct.
printing press.
It's there.
Now, it is sent to that printing press.
Yes, please.
Right? How is it sent to the printing press? Under what custody?
Yes.
Second, after they are printed, how does the printing press send it back to NTA? Between that date and give us that date, how many days had elapsed between that and the distribution of the question papers to these 471 cities and 4,750 centers?
The entire movement minutes I'll prepare a track.
Right.
Starting from the preparation of the question paper.
See, I tell you why we are asking.
If
If we come to the conclusion that the time lag between the leak and the actual date of the examination is relatively limited, then that would be a circumstance which would militate against holding a retest.
Not sure.
If the time lag between the leak and the actual examination, Brother Mishra actually mentioned,
Is wide, then
is wider, then there's a greater chance that the malaise is across the system.
correct. I get it, I'll get
If
it time.
it appears that the question papers were leaked on the morning of the 5th, exam was scheduled at 2 o'clock, students were made to memorize the questions, that may be one indicator that the leak was not as widespread.
Not sure.
Somebody who has a question paper is not going to ask students to sit down and memorize them and give on the spot memorize them. How many answers can a student memorize?
There are two aspects to it.
Therefore, we have to have some
Yes.
clarity on facts for us to understand whether this is so systemic that we must order a
Not
retest.
sure. Not sure.
See, there are 2 or 3 considerations which weigh. One, if the sanctity of the examination has been lost, then a retest has to be ordered, right?
Yeah.
If we are not able to identify students who are candidates who are guilty of wrongdoing, a retest has to be ordered. If you can't distinguish the grain from the shaft, that is the tainted from the untainted, a retest has to be ordered.
Your Lordship judgment.
On the other hand, right? On the other hand, we are dealing with now a situation of 23 lakh students. It may be far-fetched for us to at least presume, unless they point out material to us, that all 23 lakh students or a substantial number of them are involved in the fraud. For all we know, a large number of students may be just honest students who have appeared for the exam.
Large number read only. Large number read.
Therefore, we have to see if, second, what is the modality? One more very important aspect.
Yes, sir.
What was the modality in which the leak was detected? If the leak took place, if the modality of the leak is through electronic means, social media, then there's the possibility that the leak is extremely wide.
Well, that is the point. What your Lordship said is all correct.
Just 1 second.
They was the electronic media.
One second.
Answer this.
We are flagging these issues. We want you to therefore give us a comprehensive analysis of dates.
Certainly.
Because if the leak is taking place through, say, Telegram, if it is taken through WhatsApp,
That happened.
This is
because
the case.
if it's through social media or any electronic means of communication, then it spreads like wildfire.
Yes.
On the other hand, we must also balance it out about the time at which the leak takes place. If it's more or less in the morning of the 5th, then the time between when the leak takes place and the students have to go for the examination is very limited.
On the
Retest is a hard decision, but there is no choice.
One more thing in which we require some assistance from both sides. Please don't treat it as an adversarial litigation. For the reason that whatever view we ultimately take, this view is impacting the lives of 23 lakh students. Second, we want to understand, is it possible for the court to identify red flags? Right? So, can we identify, either we do it or we appoint an expert committee to identify the red flags? I'll give you some examples of red flags. 720 out of 720. All right, everybody out of who gets 720 is not a fraudster. There may be still people who are extraordinarily bright in that 720 out of 720. But we found that for the previous years, the proportion was very low. Now, this year suddenly it goes up to 67. How many out of those 720 are people from that 1563 who are beneficiaries of the added grace mark?
We have given the details in our counter affidavit. 81 places.
No, we just want you to now put it down on a piece of paper for us. Second, we want to understand this. So, a change in centers is possible, right? A change in centers is possible. Suppose a student, I was just telling my brothers at lunch, suppose a student is registered at Lucknow. Suddenly you find that student has gone from Lucknow to a distant center in UP and gets the 720.
Yes.
Suppose somebody is registered at Ahmedabad and suddenly goes to a fairly distant. So that may be one example.
Yes.
So we can, we will have to do some, if we have to separate the grain from the chaff, we will have to identify certain red flags. That those who fall in that red flag category we may have to then hold a limited retest for that category alone. Second, is it possible to do, using the cyber forensic unit of, say, the Ministry of Home Affairs or whatever, is it possible to do a data analytics on the entire result and to identify? Now, there may be one category I was thinking, when we were reflecting on this matter, students who get exceptionally high marks in the NEET, but whose performance is not reflected in the 12. But there again, I'll tell you one thing. 1 second. There again, there's a problem. Students don't study as hard for the 12th as they study for the NEET.
Only one figure may assist your lordship.
Another red flag. Another red flag. A student gets exceptionally high marks in one faculty of science, like say physics or chemistry, but gets 5 marks in the others. So, because it may be unlikely that a student who is doing so brilliantly in one would not have studied at all for the other faculty. So the only point is that, I'm not sure whether we should be doing this or whether these...
But they have not declared the entire result also.
But, may I give one?
As Brother Mishra says, does the full marks have a pattern? We also
I wanted to answer that.
We also want to understand. We also want to understand the pattern of NEET itself.
Well, it's the pattern quickly.
Well, only a minute.
45 questions on physics, 45 questions on chemistry, 45 on zoology and botany. Totally 180. 4 marks.
So 45 questions on physiks,
45 on chemistry, 45 on math, on botany, and 45 on zoology.
So 45 times are 4, that is
180. 180 into 4, 720.
Right.
If you get a wrong answer, -1. So therefore, if you had given 179 right answers, your score would have been 720 minus 5, that is 750. Here, there have been answers, scores of 718, 719. It's mathematically impossible. Because you lose your
answer was that it is because of the grace marks.
No, this is prior to retest. Give me 2 minutes, Lord. Give me 2 minutes.
Submission something.
One second.
Just some figures which are handy, and that might answer. I'm obliged to your lordship's question. It's a very pertinent question. We examine the pattern of 100 top ranking students, those who were in the first 100. The analysis comes that they were distributed amongst 95 centers in 56 cities in 18 states or union territories.
The
top 100.
The top 100.
They are not found that they appeared in 95 centers located in 56 cities, which are spread out in 18 states or union territories.
And my lord.
Just one second. Now,
page 86 of my reply, page 37 is the
evidence. One more thing which we want to know now is that how many FIRs matters been handed over to CBI for investigation?
I'll just tell you.
Totally, how many FIRs have been registered?
One FIR was paper leak in Patna. Rest, my lord, are FIRs for some local malpractice.
How many totally FIRs have been registered?
According to them, 6. Our knowledge is not 6.
Can you give us tomorrow, maybe
or day after, a day more, but we'll be able to.
I have enough.
Just 1 second.
I will tell you.
Second, we want to know now. One thing is very clear, that the leak has taken place.
Yes, in one center.
No, whether one center, that's what we have to decide.
We will have to.
The fact that the sanctity of the examination has reached is now compromised is beyond doubt.
Correct.
That there has been a leak.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
Now, question is, Mr. Solicitor, how widespread is that breach?
Patna also, the paper leak is not an admitted fact. But my learned friend relied upon that press not kind of a thing.
No, it is an admitted fact. This is stated in the affidavit.
Mr. Adumara, once again.
Yes.
But can we deny the fact that a leak of question papers
Yes,
took place?
Yes, my lord. Yes, my lord. The
Complete cover up, it is admitted in the
Bihar
FIR.
police, Bihar police, on that very day on which, my lord, some news reporting came, which my learned friend, my lord, Mr. Huda read. Lord, we issued this press that this is false. This is not our briefing to the media.
No, but is the case of NTA today that there is no leak?
It's not
The leak is admitted.
The fact
It is admitted in the counter of the leak.
Mr. Solicitor, Mr. Kaushik, we take it that it's an admitted fact that there is a leak. There is no question about it. But, the nature of the leak is what we are determining.
Yes,
Therefore, we are asking questions. The fact that there was a leakage of question papers cannot be disputed. Now, what is the consequence of that leak would depend upon the extensive nature of that leak. If it
Was
is
it
not
a contained leak or uncontained?
I'll tell you one thing. You don't cancel a whole examination merely because two students have committed a malpractice. Likewise, assuming that there is a leak, we don't live in an ideal world. There should be no leak. But before we decide to order a retest, we must be careful about what is the nature of that leak, because we are conscious of the fact that we are dealing with the careers of 23 lakhs.
She is absolutely right. Absolutely right.
And asking 23 lakh students to reappear for an examination, together with the preparation, cost, travel, and dislocation of admission schedules, is a
Unfortunately, there is no other choice.
I'll also take.
Unfortunately, there is no other choice. Paper has been leaked.
Therefore, we want to know this. Therefore, we would like to know first the entire process which takes place.
Sir,
Two, what is the nature of the FIRs which have come forth? How was the leak? What is the point of time at which the leak took place? How was the leak disseminated? These are important questions. And next, very important, what are the actions which the Government of India and NTA have taken to identify the wrongdoing students or the beneficiaries of the wrongdoing?
correct.
Nothing.
No, now I give an example.
I
I'll
appeal for
just give an example.
I appeal for someone who has come first. I'd like to make submission.
Sir, I have
31.9, my lord.